Hello, Steeler Nation. Welcome to Stryker's Inside Slant. I know we're recovering from our first loss, but hey, we are back. Sorry, it's been a busy week for me this week. I was at the two Orioles playoff games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and then unfortunately I have D&D on Thursdays, so my geek inside of me makes it so I can't do anything again until Friday rolls around, but just in time to get back at least to take a look at the injury report. That's kind of a big thing that's coming off. We got a couple guys back from injured reserve this week, Isaac Seumalo and Jeremiah Moon, our other backup outside linebacker. So Moon was a full practice all week. He's listed as questionable with that ankle. I'm thinking he may be playing this week. Same thing with Seumalo. He was full on Wednesday and Thursday with that pec muscle. Limited on Friday, but not given a designation. So look for Isaac to start at left guard for the first time this season. Couldn't have come any quick at a better time because we just lost our starting right guard. And we have two capable backups there that can hopefully try to help out and do what James Daniels was doing over on the other side. But James Daniels is going to be a loss for us. Same thing with Russell Wilson, limited all week, still questionable. Jalen Warren didn't practice all week, as well as fellow running back Cordell Patterson. Both of them are out. So we are to our third or fourth option now as a backup to Najee Harris. Alex Highsmith is still out with his groin. He did not practice this week. The only other person, Michael Pruitt, actually didn't practice as well, still out. And limited, it looks like Larry Ogunjobi got hurt in practice with a groin this week, sometime on Thursday, maybe at the end of practice on Wednesday, but he was limited on Thursday, limited on Friday. He is questionable with a groin. And I don't know about you guys, Steeler Nation, but at least with Larry Ogunjobi and the amount that we're paying for that guy, I've expected him to make more plays. I have. I expect him to make a splash play every game or two. Right now, out of Larry Ogunjobi, we get a splash play every 3 to 5 games. That's not good enough. For 13 mil a season, strictly not good enough. Also, injuries have been an issue with Ogunjobi. I want him to be who he used to be for Cincinnati. I want him to be who he was when he first came to this team with his hair on fire. But then he gets banged up. It's frustrating for me to get behind a player that is playing underneath of what their ability is. And Larry Ogunjobi is a much better player than only making a play once every 3 to 5 games. Guys, it's your show. We're going to you. You know it. Michael Hall of Fame. We are live. You know it, Michael. Good to talk to you. Let's go, Stryker. Woo! Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. Yo, Cope. Yo, Cooley. How you doing? Sorry, man. It's been a rough week. Well, rough for the Orioles fans, too, because, man, going to 2 playoff games, watching 18 innings of baseball, and a team that only scored 1 run in 18 innings is just horrific. Absolutely horrific to watch. When their pitching did the job to win them, too. Roman Wilson is healthy. 100% healthy. He was a healthy scratch for the Indy game. I don't know why the guy isn't being put in. I would rather have him on the field than any other wide receiver playing X right now. Those guys are not good enough. Miles, hey, Stryker. Hey, Miles, welcome to the show, my friend. Always good to see you. Injury bug strikes again. Oh, boy. And the problem isn't injuries striking the team. Injuries are going to strike your team no matter what. It is part of football. Also, the big mantra is it's better to have your big injuries earlier in the season than at the end of the season. Because then you can recover, guys can get back, and you can get humming here after the bye week, going toward the last half of the season, getting momentum to get to the playoffs. So you want your injuries early as opposed to late, but the problem with injuries is when they keep happening at the same position. We found that out last year at inside linebacker. Everybody went down at inside linebacker. We're pulling people off the streets, off of couches, off of practice squads. We were down to like our 7th and 8th inside linebacker when we rebuilt the room. Now, what is it this year? Running backs, and we have no depth behind Najee. And, of course, offensive line. Offensive line is decimated. Now, I will state that I'm very happy with the way Zach Frazier is playing, other than Nate Herbig at center, who was a great center as well. But I'd say Zach is doing a little better, other than having a bad snap each game. That's the thing that's killing us with Zach. He's a hell of a blocker, but that one bad snap each game is killing us. 2 turnovers last week, 2 fumbles, and that bad exchange is what cost us the ability to even have a chance to come back on that last drive. That put us behind the 8 ball, unfortunately, because this team had all the momentum, and for their rookie to never have a start in their life, to go on and have a perfect game, I couldn't believe that was going to happen. I would have bet that would have been the other way. Absolutely would have been the other way. But nope, we were the one putting the ball on the ground. So not good enough. We're getting our other starter back now in Samalu. We have our bookend tackles are the same starting tackles from last year. Still like Frazier. So now the question mark is going to be, can they step at right guard for Daniels with Daniels down with Spencer and company, Anderson? Yeah, I think those guys can do it. It'll be interesting to watch. And I'm excited to see how it's going to see moving forward, because now maybe that injury situation at offensive line isn't as bad as we thought it was, especially since they're not going to be facing Micah Parsons on the other side of the field, one of those all-pro defensive player of the year caliber players for Dallas is not going to be on the football field. And that is a bonus for Steelers. That is a bonus for that offensive line, because Parsons moves all over the place. He's not stuck in one place like TJ Watt. He moves everywhere on that line. So that is one person that the offensive line does not have to worry about. So hopefully that'll help our running game block more downhill, getting Samalu back, who is a road grader as well, plus blocker. Zach's a plus blocker. Our tackles are doing great. Washington's a plus blocker. Jones is a plus blocker. What's the right guard going to do? That's the situation. What do you guys think? Let me know. Miles, will we see Roman play this week? I hope to hell. He should have been on the field 2 weeks ago. Absolutely should have been on the field 2 weeks ago. Also, we trade for Devontae? No way are we trading for Devontae Adams. And I will tell you why. Because I just looked at his salary over at Spot Track, however you want to say it, Spot Rack. And dude is making salary-wise for the next 2 years, $35 million a season. You want to bring a guy onto your football team that is making more than TJ Watt and expect your locker room to accept it, especially a malcontent like Adams? Zero chance. I mean, Tyreek going to Kansas City sucked, because I would have rather had Tyreek than Adams. Didn't know he was on the trading block. Rather have Waddle, though. Let's see if it's a fire sale over in Miami now. Rather have Waddle. We'll see. Brian Davis, a lot of talk about Adams' possible trade. Definitely worried with the amount of injuries he has. Think Wilson is a scam here to get his Denver money, not interested in actually contributing. I don't think he's pretending to be hurt. I really don't, because he knows he can get paid next year playing well this year. He wants another contract. He's not trying to be pretending to be hurt, but as I told you, Adams is a zero chance. CA3 pick. Nope. Adams sucks, and he's too expensive. You're not going to bring a player to the team to be the highest paid player on your roster over TJ Watt and Hayward. No way. Not going to happen. Robert, they need to go get Washington more involved. I agree. I absolutely agree, especially with the diminished wide receivers we have. We would be happier passing out of a two tight end set with George Pickens on the field than having 3 wide receivers on the field. I'd be happier with 3 tight ends and George Pickens on the field than our other receivers being on the field. I think all of them bring something to the table. You know, I will say that CA3 has been doing well these last few games. I'm not going to knock him yet. I'm hoping he's around the corner. I'm hoping the switch has turned on for this guy in his third year now. We redshirted his freshman year on the Steelers. Next 2 years, had a big play last year, but didn't really build on that. This year had a big play out of the box too. Decent game afterward. Got to build on it though. Can't show it to be a fluke. Oh, you can't be a one-hit wonder. Can't be a Quadri Ismail. Got to be a better player. Joe Thornburg, welcome to the show, Joe. Those bad snaps are all communication, and it's the whole interior and Fields that need to work on it. Absolutely. It's all Fields and Frazier. Those two guys, they got to get rid of this crap. And it's happening too many times in a row in too many games. We cannot have it. Cannot have it, Joe. You're 100% right. Michael Robert C., I believe he is more of a blocking tight end. You say that until he starts hurdling over people, and see some of his footage in college too. He's an athletic guy. He's a big body. He is a red zone threat. He was our first touchdown of the season through the air, and should be more. Like, that's what I'm saying. Screw it. Let's do what Patriots did. Run a tight end heavy offense. 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends, less wide receivers, more running. We got a running quarterback. Just flat out go to it. Just stop pretending to be a 3 wide receiver offense. I don't like seeing 3 wide receivers ever on the field, especially if one of them is Van Jefferson. I don't want to see Van Jefferson on the field anymore. I'm getting sick of him. He's not getting open. He's not making plays. He's not even open enough to be targeted most of the time. And he's looking as bad as James Washington, who would play entire games and wouldn't get a target. That's inexcusable for a wide receiver in the NFL if you're a starting player at one of the 2 outside receiver positions. You should never have a game where you don't get targeted when you're playing a majority of the snaps. Should never happen. And it's unfortunately happening now. Brian, Moon is back. He did good in camp. I think 49 might be an impact player. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm super excited to see him too. I really like watching him in the preseason there, Brian. He made some plays there, got some sacks in the preseason games. It looked like he was a handful too on the backs on backers drill. So really going to be interesting to see how they work him in and how quickly they do. But I honestly think if he's eligible to play this weekend, I know he's listed as questionable. He practiced fully the entire week. So I don't know why he has a questionable designation, especially coming off of IR. But the situation is what the situation is. I don't know if the Steelers are still trying to play the roster and actives and inactives to see who they have available and what would be the best plan for the roster for this week. But hey, my cat's making a cameo behind the helmets today. That's the first time you've ever done that, cat. So my cat's a Bengals fan. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, super excited to see if Moon can get on there, get some plays, and actually give us quality backup breather reps for Watt and Herbig, who are now the starters, because we really did not have a good backup option before that. So, Michael Hall, I'm loving CA3 more and more, making up for being out his freshman year with us and showing why we drafted him. I'm still waiting for him to make a big play and build on it. I want him to keep building on it. I do like what I see. I think he made some tough catches last game. If he keeps building on that, I'm going to be really happy. But I need him to break a punt return for us. I need him to do that. That's one of the reasons, or one of the ways he can get this team wins. He starts doing stuff like that, I'll be all for him. Miles, I'm ready for this bounce back game. It couldn't happen against a better team. Dallas Cowboys a little banged up as well, like we mentioned. Micah Parsons is missing the game, the Penn Stater. Looks like Kalen Carson starting left corner is questionable, as well as Trayvon Diggs, their right corner. So both corners are banged up, as well as Brandon Cooks, who is not going to play, one of their starting receivers, opposite of CeeDee Lamb. So it's going to be interesting to see how those matchups are going to be. They did pretty terrible against the run against the Ravens. If the Steelers can put together a similar package, look for Najee to have a big day. I'd be all for Najee having a big day. I really want Najee to have a big day because that's what we need. Michael Hall of Fame, What is Dallas's weakness going into Sunday Night Football? Like I said, stopping the run. They were moved all over them on that the prime time game the Ravens did. They destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them. Decimated them. 200 yards rushing, something for King Henry. Najee can get over 100. It's like about the same as King Henry getting 200. It's Henry's a Hall of Famer. Najee's still trying to figure out what he's going to be in this league, but I think he's a good back. And he needs, if this should be the type of game that will hopefully get him rolling after his 19-yard performance last week that really diminishes what he is on this team. It's just every time he was on the field, they threw everybody at the box and everybody at the line of scrimmage. It looked like old school Techno Bowl that they were calling our plays every time. It's like, guys, they're run blitzing every damn play on first down. Have you heard of a bootleg? Have you heard of a bootleg or a waggle? Get that pocket moving. Play action boot. Get that quarterback out of there. Slide the pocket. Because that crap just does not work. And if they keep teeing off on it, you have to change out of it. And if you're saying you can't have your quarterback call an audible, you're dumb. You're dumb. You're as dumb as the two offensive coordinators that came in front of you. And you're not going to have a job long here in Pittsburgh if you keep doing that crap. Just get your head out of your ass. Robert, has Fields proven to be the number one? I think he did a great job first 3 games. I think he also built well on the last game. I will say Kenny Pickett was the type of quarterback that would win on that last drive. What's Justin Fields? I don't know. I haven't seen the win and the desire to fight and win at the end of a game yet on a last drive out of Justin Fields. So I don't know what he is. And I know he didn't win a whole hell of a lot of games over in Chicago. Like 6 total. He's like halfway to his win numbers in the years over in Chicago. But I'm not sure what he is as a quarterback. Is he too used to losing? Is this like, this is what happens at the end of games? You have a little mess up and you lose 8 yards. Like, you can't come back from that. Is that the way he is? I don't know what his mental makeup is because he was never a winner in Chicago. He hasn't been a winner since college. He's a big winner in college. National championship, I believe. But needs to win in the NFL. Needs to win in Pittsburgh. Needs to show Pittsburgh, get on my back. We lost 8 yards. I'll get that 8 yards back. That's what Mahomes does. Hell, that's what Brock Purdy does. That's what Kirk Cousins does. Kirk Cousins looking a lot better now, guys, isn't he? A lot of you guys say, oh, we beat Kirk Cousins. As I was saying, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, not named Mahomes or Brady for the past decade. Guy can play football. We had a great game plan against him. He could not get comfortable. That's what happens. Miles, Najee being our only runner scares me. Well, it's going to have to be that way. Unless Connor's coming back and doing some fullback reps. Michael, the cat, don't remind me. I'm just getting my business, right? I'm just minding my business. Yeah, right. So it would have been best as the Bengals fan if she started like batting the helmets off of the ledge onto my back. I'm lucky you're not a person. She's right here now, right to my left over top of the microphone. I'm just glad that she's not the type of cat that knocks stuff off. She's a very, at least mindful cat. And both of my cats that I've ever had have been very good about getting on things and not knocking things off. So best to them. Michael Hall, the cat doesn't know what to think of the helmets. I know. Brian, it is definitely a run game plan this week. Dallas is soft against the run. They also have major injuries up front, correct? But I'm excited about the 2 backs we activated. They are both strong runners. Let's go over to the roster here quickly. Because I just want to see who the guys were that we brought up. I know we did roster the one guy, and it's just slipping my mind for a second. Shampkin is rostered now. It looks like Warren and Cordell are still on the roster, but we're also we have to call up somebody from the practice squad, and I'm checking our practice squad right now. Prayers to practice squad. Running back, running back. We got Perrine on the practice squad and Jonathan Ward. So look for one of those two guys to get brought up. Jonathan Ward's been in the league for 5 years. Perrine's been in the league for 4 years. Those guys can do it. They're still pretty big guys. Both of them are big guys. Ward being 6'2", 202. Perrine being 5'11", 216. Both guys have some size. Like Cordell Patterson. I didn't know how big Cordell Patterson was until we started seeing him run. I'm like, wow, that guy's big, hitting the hole. Hitting the holes better than our smaller, supposedly better running back. Well, he's not much smaller, but because we got Najee Harris at 6'1", 242. That's a big back. He should be the bowling ball, the one getting those tough yards, the one pushing those piles. Cordell Patterson being 6'2", 220. Still, like he just looks so much taller because he runs so straight up. He's like Eddie George, if you guys remember him. He was a very straight up runner as well back in the day. I always liked watching him run too. I'm all for the bootleg. Always booted. You know it. Good to see you on the show, my friend. Been a bit. Thoughts on our offense coordinator 4 games into the season? He needs to open up this damn offense. That's my thought. He very conservative, winning on the road. We were doing basically what the offense has been last few years. Play conservative, keep it close. Defense is going to keep the game close, win it at the end, or salt it out on offense on the last drive. That's it. I want to see him open up the offense and not just have to do it in desperation time because you're down by multiple touchdowns. I want to see us do it at the beginning of the game like Washington does with Daniels. Come out of the box throwing. Come out of the box throwing 15, 20 yards down the field. Get those guys out of the box. I will take that every time we walk up to the line of scrimmage and they put 8 guys in the box. Throw it down the field. George is going to make a play one-on-one. Make damn sure George is going to make a play one-on-one. Not a 50-50 ball with George Pickens. It's a 75-25 ball every time. So that's what I want to see now out of this offense. I haven't seen it yet. Still waiting on it. Because right now, if we still getting into this churn and burn offense, we're not executing well. We did not execute well at all first 3 quarters last game, or first 2.5, I should say. Had a good drive right there before the 2-minute warning, or 2-minute before half. Got up some points. Thought we were going to do back-to-back points, but we didn't. But then the next drive we scored. But then we had some good drives. We got 2 touchdowns in a row. And then off on downs. So unfortunately, that's the way it went. Brian, Mason Rudolph had 5 scoring drives. He may replace Levis permanently. News out is that Levis might be starting this week. And that is dumb. He's a rookie. Let him sit behind this vet that knows how to put up points on the board. I wish we still had Rudolph. I know that guy can get 30 points for our offense because he did it. He's the only guy to get 30 points for this offense. Ben didn't do it the last couple of years. It's Rudolph. Guy can play. Absolutely can play. Brian Davis. Andy Dalton is lighting it up for Carolina. And Sam Darnold for the Vikings, amazing. And you guys can even make, like, Chicago feels this exact same way, Brian, about Justin Fields for the Steelers. For him to come out of the box and win 3 straight games, they're like, damn, he never did that for us. The Bears. I mean, that's all they saw, like, him running for his life, scared, not getting any blocking, not having much talent to throw to. Terrible coaching. Terrible front office. Now he's in a situation as an excellent front office. Stable coaching. Been here for decades. Never seen that in his life. He probably hasn't seen that since high school. If a coach had been around for like 10 years in high school. Maybe college. I forget where he went to college. But, oh wait, Ohio State. Yeah. Yeah, so he probably knew that coach for a bit. That coach has been around for a while. So yeah, consistency. Consistency may bring out the best in Justin Fields. And that's what's happening with these other teams too. Like Sam Darnold's in a much better situation at the Vikings. Andy Dalton's I wouldn't say he's in a better situation in Carolina, but he's playing better. Playing better than their other quarterback. Sometimes it's the quarterback to get in the right situation as well. There's probably some great quarterbacks that could have been great quarterbacks, good to great quarterbacks that just never got the chance, that were in the wrong situation, ruined their heads, could not recover when they moved out to other teams. Miles, hey, Stryker, I'm not sure if you know who Tom Grossi is, but maybe one day, if the Steelers play the Packers again, you guys should do a live stream during the game. Is that another podcast guy? I'd be fine doing podcasts anytime, especially with people from other teams. I mean, we have different perspectives on our teams, and I get along with others. I go to a lot of away games. Ward. That's what you're saying for Ward. Miles, Pickens and Muth are going to have quite the game. Yes, it should be. It should be Pickens, Muth, and Washington, Connor, maybe some CA3, sprinkle in whoever knows. Hopefully they get. I'd rather have Wilson on the field now than these other kids these other guys that we brought up off the practice squad. I think it's Wilson's time to be on the team. And you need to get him in there and get some snaps. Because he can run routes. He knows how to get open. He can get separation. Miles, do you think we're playing conservative because of Tomlin? Not necessarily. Tomlin was the coach when we had Arians. Arians was one of the least conservative coaches I've ever seen. Haley was more conservative in the sense of we just tried to get the ball out faster. It wasn't conservative, but still trying to make sure that Ben wasn't getting killed back there in the pocket like he was with Arians. With those two guys, I wouldn't have called either of them conservative, and that's the majority of Tomlin's tenure was with those two offensive coordinators. Once we started getting into the Fichtners and the Canadas, I mean, those are more short-lived. That's more recent. And we kind of had to play that way because we did not have the quarterback play that could throw the ball down the field anymore because we weren't willing to put Mason Rudolph in there. Ben's arm was dead. The last 2 years he played in the league, his arm was dead. By the time they hit midseason, could not throw the ball. Could not throw the ball deep at all. And was never a great deep ball thrower, but could get the ball down the field. People always had to come back to the ball. He was never an in-stride kind of guy down the field. He'd find the open guy and throw it, a couple yards behind him, so he'd have to come back for the ball. Rudy hit you in stride. Fields will hit you in stride too. 40 yards down the field. So I'm looking forward to seeing that type of play, which I know he is capable of. We've got to run some of those plays. We got to run some of those plays early. We got to get Pickens involved early. We got to get Muth involved early. Right now, we're only getting Najee involved. It seems like first couple drives are like, just try to run it. Run. That's it. That's what we do. It's the reason why we're not scoring on our first drives. Run. And they're throwing 8 in the box and run blitzing us. So we can do better. Robert, Rudy still stinks. He never stunk. We will disagree on that. We don't even have to agree to disagree. I'll just flat out disagree with you on that. Just like college overtime rules are way better than the NFL's. Michael Hall, bring back Haley if Smith isn't the answer, but I'll give Smith some time. But until then, I will always have Haley as an offensive coordinator. We should have never got rid of Arians. Think about that. He won a Super Bowl after he left. He did great in where did he go after? We went to Indy afterward. Did great as a coach and backup when their coach got cancer. Got coach of the year. Went down to Tampa, won a Super Bowl with Brady. Didn't want AB on his team. Flat out said didn't want him on his team. Brady talked him into it. And they got one. Should never have gotten rid of Arians. I'll say that over Haley. Bubble screen Haley. Everybody was sick of bubble screen Haley. But Arians, he was wide open. You did not know where that ball was going. The root trees were diverse. They were unexpected. They worked well against each other with the roots and the way to get isolations. It was a perfect offense for young Ben Roethlisberger. And it's a reason why he made it to 2 Super Bowls early. 3 Super Bowls early. Sorry. Never sniffed a Super Bowl after we got rid of Haley. That hurts. That's what hurts. I mean, we did get the AFC Championship game, but still. That's what hurts. I want back Brian Flores. I can't be upset about that. Better than the most recents, I'll tell you that. Fields has such an accurate and beautiful deep ball. He's keeping Pickens happy. You can tell. Fields has such an accurate and beautiful deep ball. He's keeping Pickens happy. You can tell. Yeah, well, he's got to get the ball to Pickens. And really, the offense runs through Pickens because Pickens is our primary target. Pickens is the only wide receiver right now that's getting consistent separation on breaks. And he's also a great combative catcher. He likes somebody on his back. He likes fighting through people to get the ball. He's starting to push people lower now. If you saw it in the last game, pushed a little lower that time, didn't get called for it. That's what you got to do as a receiver. Can't push them high. Can't watch their shoulders go back or the next, because the refs are going to throw that every time. Push that quad, push that hip. They don't jerk the same way. They'll tuck a little bit, which will just look weird. That's what you do. That's what you freaking do. Robert, no problem about Rudy. It's okay if you want to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong all the time. All the time. I don't have that big of an ego. Just going through quickly, at least we're going to talk about for the last game. Justin Fields did hit his first 300-yard game with a touchdown, adding another 55 yards on the ground with 2 more touchdowns. So combined 3 touchdowns in that game, 10 yards, 55 yards, 10 carries, 55 yards for 5.5 yards a carry. That's a plus outing for your quarterback other than the turnovers. That's the aspect that hurt a little bit more. I'm also going to go over here quickly to SteelerNation.com. Over at the Football Forum, guys, it's free to join. Please go over there and join. Got some questions asked up over there, and I guess that's more of a statement than a question. Next one is rank these bonehead plays from Sunday from Mad Insomniac. A, the Pickens WTF fumble. B, Fields self-strip sack. C, the botched snap. D, JP Jr. missing first pass of the game. E, Joey Porter Jr. dropping an easy pick later in the game. So if I'm going off of those 5, the worst one was Pickens fumble. We were inside the 5. We had all the momentum in the world. It was before the end of it was earlier in the game. So we had a great chance of starting to build momentum. And it was a dumb fumble. It was a dumb, just brainless fumble. You should never held the ball that way ever as an NFL player when you're securing a ball and you're trying to get into the end zone. It was a bad play. That cost us 7 points. There's no doubt in my mind that team wasn't getting in the end zone on that. Now, Fields' self-strip sack, I felt he gained possession of it and his forearm was on the ground when the knee of the player then knocked it back out. So I don't think that one was really on his fault. I'm going to drop that one lower. Botch snap cost them the game on last drive. That cost them the game. That's probably, I'll put that above the Pickens fumble, just above it. Joey Porter Jr.'s 2 plays, I'll put them in between the top 2 and the botch snap. But dropping that easy pick, I mean, picks are tough no matter what. He should have the pick. Hell, I thought he was going to pick the first pass of the game. I thought he was there. I was like, oh, pick! And he missed it. Like he just got there a tick too late. Quarterback never saw him. He came off of his receiver to make that play. Nearly did. And when you have a guy like that, those are the types of plays that Darrelle Revis would make. Coming off of his receiver to intercept a ball going to another receiver on a contrary route. That's the stuff. If we start seeing that consistently out of Joey Porter Jr., we're going to be a lot better. But I'm fine with him dropping the pick over the middle if it's hitting the ground, because that's the time I think we held them to a field goal on that one. Mad, Titans already announced Will Levis, who has 6 picks, 15 sacks, and 3 fraction games. It's going to start if healthy. This after Mason Rudolph led them to their first win and broke 30 points for the first time in a dog's age. So what exactly does Mason have to do to get perpetually disrespected? Does he show up to a team and immediately punch the coach's mom in the throat or something? Exactly. I think that if you analyze what Rudolph does right, he's not scared to throw in the pocket. He's always looking downfield. He's got good pocket presence. and he delivers a quick, accurate ball. I don't know why the guy hasn't had more starts or wasn't promoted, wasn't the backup ahead of Trubisky some of these preseasons where I thought he outplayed Trubisky. And that was the reason why Trubisky was 0-3 his last 3 starts. Whereas you throw in Rudolph then at the end of the year. If you had Trubisky, you had Rudolph there earlier, we might have won some of those games against the lesser talent. With Rudolph out there, hell yeah, we're winning those games. Buckwheat, with the news of Devontae Adams having fallout with his head coach over social media, has anyone tried to trade for it? Pros and cons, we talked about it. The only con is you're not paying anybody on this team more than TJ Watt. $35 million a season is too much to bring in a receiver. He's locked into $35 million a season for his next 2 years. No way are we paying that to a receiver. 0 chance. Yep. John Steeler said that too. Adams too expensive as well. You're not taking balls away from Pickens. Mad Insomniac. You aren't trading for an offensive lineman this season, but yeah, Adams has $35 million base salary in the next 2 years and is heading into his mid-30s. Total cap hit for the Raiders is $44 million per, but age 35, base is too high and he's too old. Though the one aspect is I could see trading for Adams as a 1-year rental. I'll do one pro. Let me look at what his contract looks like. Oh no, that's not on this page. So I've got the Steelers contract up right now. I just got to go over to the Raiders page. Yep, there it is. And he'll be at the top of the Raiders page, so that'll be easy to find once it loads. And nothing's working on my computer for some reason. Oh, there it is. So with he's actually paid currently right behind Max Crosby because it's like the early year of his contract. So for this year, his base salary is 16.89. You divide that by 4 and subtract that out. So that's about another $4.4 million off of that contract. So now you're looking at $12.4 million, 12.5 actually, to bring him in for the season. Now that is an option because we don't have to pay him $35 million his next 2 seasons. We can just drop him or we can restructure him to a new contract. There's no way he's going to get paid $35 million, but if we were bringing him in as a 1-year rental, that is a distinct possibility and something that could happen. Because at $12.4 million for 1 season, you're talking about a low draft pick for that type of thing. For them to get out of that kind of money, I mean, they're still going to be on the hook for $44 million. So they really got to be upset with Adams to get him out of the building for $44 million. Hell, it was tough enough on us to get rid of AB with $25 million on the hook still. But it's a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Where are we at? Okay, I'm going to mark you here. Just finishing up my questions over here at SteelNation.com. Quite amazing how, from Fiji Mariner, it's quite amazing how Rooney, the Rodney Dangerfield treatment, better option for Panthers next year. A, re-sign Andy, Old Man Dalton. B, go back to Bryce Bustasaurus Young. C, bring the pride of Rock Hill, Mason Rudolph back home and give him an actual shot as a starter. D, wreck another quarterback's career via the draft. I like this. Oh, my gosh. And I think that's nearly all the questions over here. That's all the questions over there. So now it's time to come back to the show, to the flagship, Brian Davis. James Conner has been solid for Arizona. Yes, Flores D is undefeated in Minnesota. He will be a head coach next season. Absolutely will be. Flores is a hell of a coach. Why can't we bring in offensive coordinators like that? I mean, we had to bring in like people that never coached in the league before. The last 2 offensive coordinators we had. That's on Tomlin. I will put that decision on Tomlin. At least we got a pro coach now, the one that has been to the AFC Championship game because of his coaching. That's something to be said. Brian Davis, Zach Frazier could and deserves to be a Pro Bowler this year. Other than his snaps, I will agree with you. I like how he's putting people on the ground, getting to the second level. knocking 2 people down, moving 2 people in the pocket. He's a good player. He was drafted in the right spot by the right front office. Khan and the scouts, Tomlin, all working together, did a great job to make sure we brought in the right guy there. Offense coordinator and the line coach. Miles, is Dante Jackson playing this week? Yes, he's supposed to be playing this week. Let me see the Steelers. Because he's not on the he wasn't on the injury report that I saw or given a designation. So now I'm going down just to make sure. Yeah, Jackson is not given an injury designation. He will play. He will play. So that'll be fun to watch. And we got Moon's going to be playing this week. That'll be nice. He's still listed as IR in here. And then who's our other left inside? The Nick Herbig, Jeremiah Moon. The other guy wasn't listed. It was a guy who we brought up off the practice squad and bopped him back down. So just a 1-game rental looks like. But now it looks like I would assume Moon would be playing in this game. Corey Frank, we should have re-signed Dejon Edwards since we are thin at running back. Let's run Najee into the ground. I thought somebody picked him up. Daijun. Daijun Edwards. All right, we're going over to Wiki because Wiki is always updated quick. Where is he currently? Yeah, he's not on any team, it looks like right now. That's it. Last thing listed is for him being on the in our training camp, released by Pittsburgh. Nobody else picked him up. He is available. We picked up other people. I don't know why. I guess we like other people, but he did great in that Houston game. I'll agree with that. But don't know why. Is Herbig's ankle okay? I think so. Let me check over here on the injury report just to see how it was officially listed and what his practicing was this week. Herbig did not practice on Wednesday. He was limited on Thursday, and he practiced fully on Friday and was not given an injury designation. So I'm going to say it's a minor sprain. It's a low ankle sprain, something that can probably be taped, and he can play with it. So that's good news. It may affect him a bit in his athleticism getting off the edge, but at least it's good to know he's going to be playing in the game because I want to see the Badger brothers go back up there with Benton as well. The Badger triplets and wreck some Cowboys this week. Guys, that's pretty much all the questions I have. If you got something to add, please add it quickly. I'm going over here to Steeler Nation here quickly to bring up the terrible tailgate to see who's going to be at the terrible tailgate this week. Get you guys the times and see what's going to happen. Terrible tailgate. Scroll for upcoming schedule. Where are we at this week? Here we go. Terrible tailgate's going to start at 3:30 p.m. this week till 7 o'clock. Red Lot 5A, Caddy Corner, closest corner, Caddy Corner to PNC Park, directly across the opposite corner. So that near corner, as soon as you come across that complete opposite corner from PNC Park, closest to our stadium, Acrisure, you will find the terrible tailgate. There will be a DJ playing music. There will be lots of food. There'll be lots of drinks. Come on over. I don't know if it says on here what the donation is. I don't see the donation. It's around $30-$40, somewhere around there. They're going to be giving away a Alex Highsmith signed jersey. Santonio Holmes will be there signing autographs. So great to go over there and see Santonio Holmes, shake his hand, talk to him a bit before the Dallas Cowboys game. Sorry, $75 donation because we got the big guy, Santonio Holmes, in this week. We had to pay some money to get him over here. So $75, all you can drink, buffet food. Get there early so you still get some food. 3:30 till 7, Red Lot 5A. All thank you to the Terrible Tailgate and Steeler Nation. Thank you so much, guys, for putting this on every week for Steeler Nation, especially if you're not a towner. First time coming to the game, this is the place to go. I'll be swinging down there for part of it as well. So please say hi to me if you want to swing over and bust my chops on my views of this as well. All righty. We got a couple more in here. Miles, if Roman is healthy, scratch this week, I'm going to riot. Me too. I was ready to riot last week. I was absolutely ready to riot last week. Love the nickname you created, Badger Brothers. I do too. I got to tell. Actually, I got to tell the owner over at Steeler Nation to get a T-shirt made for the Badger Brothers, for Nick and Watt, and throw some Benton on there as well. We got 3 Badger Brothers on defense. And I'm with you, Miles. Yes, we are. We're all going to riot. We're all going to riot if that doesn't happen. But I will be at the game. I'll be parking my RV over at the Triangle lot just north of there at Allegheny Park, as I always do, for the cheat code in Pittsburgh to park there from Saturday, which I'm going to Oktoberfest as well. Your Oktoberfest looks pretty sick this year. So I'm going to come in a little earlier on Saturday, ride that rickety-ass Ferris wheel on Clemente Bridge, watch some Dachshunds race there on Saturday. I'll be dressed in my Steeler colored lederhosen. So if you guys see me around there, pop over, say hi. It's going to be a fun thing. That's what I do. I dress up silly at places. Did that for the Orioles game. I dressed up in I have an Orioles bow tie and an Orioles fedora that I got at one of the games I went to earlier in previous year for a Father's Day. So, you know, if you got to, you better at least look good if your team's not going to look good. And one thing, when you dress up at away games, they never give you any guff. They're always really cool about it. So, because they want to get pictures with you, especially if you're cool with them. I mean, I'm not going to throw any shade in the Way Stadium. I know football. I can say 20 nice things about their team before they can say one bad thing about mine. So that's the way you got to be when you're the ambassador, hopping around, checking people out, and going to other stadiums, having a good time, wearing the garb. So hope everybody enjoys their Oktoberfest weekend. If not, please go down to Pittsburgh. Like I'm saying, it's going to be at Market Square and Clemente Bridge. I think Clemente Bridge is the carnival, and a lot of the activities are going to be at Market Square. That's where the Dachshund races are going to be. I think I'm going to – I don't know if I'm going to get there early enough to do the Beerstein holding challenge. I'd like to try that. But I did already sign up for the barrel roll. So – or was it the barrel – no, not the barrel roll. The Stein race. You got 6 Steins, 3 in each hand. You got to go over and exchange it with your partner and bring it back without spilling any. So that's going to be a lot of fun too. So enjoy your Oktoberfest weekend, but most of all, enjoy the prime time matchup on Saturday. Steelers and Dallas. We know we hate each other. We've been hating each other for decades. They've hated us long before we've hated them. They got their just desserts for their only other playoff win other than one more since that Super Bowl against us 30 years ago. Nearly 30 years, 29 years ago. And that one still stinks. That one still stings. Thanks, Neil. So, guys, thanks a lot for being on the Strikers Inside Slants. Thank you for making the show, guys. This is your show. It doesn't work without you. So I am thankful for you. You can follow me at SN Stryker on my social medias. I actually put out an Instagram. You can see me in my my bow tie that I had, what I was wearing for at SN Stryker in my Orioles gear at the stadium. So check out, see how I was dressed over there. And their crowd was into it every pitch. It was a hell of a crowd. You can't not fault the crowd for them losing those games. You can only fault their bats. But that's all the time I have on the show. Love chatting with you guys. Miles, Brian, Mike Hall of Fame. Guys, you know it. Robert, you're okay too. But I will be rooting along with you as always, with Robert. Rooting along with you as always. Go